All right, good evening, everybody. Another amazing evening. Rolling at Pitbull. Uh, whew. Sarah's sitting, but I'm actually
Yo.
standing. So, so it's another good night. I have an amazing guest tonight. I have Sarah. She needs no introduction. She's Imperial Beach All-Star and well known.
First female black belt for Professor Eddie Valdez.
That's
Team
right.
Pitbull.
First
It's an honor.
female of the academy,
Oh,
and
yes.
amazing pressure, amazing jiu-jitsu, and amazing person on top of that.
Thank you, Gio.
Well, let's find out a little bit about Sarah. Sarah, give us a little background where you're from and how you got to San Diego.
All right. Well, I am from Chester, Pennsylvania, which is a small town right outside of Philadelphia. Not a really good neighborhood, but I grew up. I had a great parents. They raised me so well. I had a great childhood. I got to experience so many good things. I got to travel to different beaches. I played all kinds of sports.
What was your favorite sport in high school?
Well, I started playing basketball at a very young age. Basketball was my best sport.
Oh, right on. What position?
Point guard.
Oh, wow.
And that was before I actually hit my growth spurt. I was always tall, but right around my first year of high school, I hit a growth spurt, and I hit 6 feet tall.
Oh,
and
damn.
then I felt super awkward. But it ended up being a great thing to be tall. Now I love being tall.
Oh, awesome. What brought you out to Imperial Beach in San Diego?
Well, my ex-girlfriend Heather and I moved out here on a whim. We just decided to drive cross country, and I never looked back. That was, probably 15 years ago. I moved to UTC up near La Jolla.
Oh, right on.
It was a really nice apartment complex that had like a pool and like a gym, and it was really nice, but it was kind of isolated.
So, with moving out here with your partner and getting settled in and stuff, what got that bug that, man, at how old were you, if you don't mind me asking?
When I moved out here, I was like maybe 28.
28?
Yep. I started jiu-jitsu when I was like late 30s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
so
late 30s.
Starting in your mid-30s, there are some kind of challenges there, but what got you, oh man, I just have to do this sport? What sparked that urge to, I got to go in there and train?
Well, as far as like my competitive spark, it started before jiu-jitsu. I was playing co-ed basketball, and then I hurt my ankle really bad, so I didn't compete after that for a minute, and then I really wanted to compete again, so I started playing co-ed softball. And softball was also one of my really good sports. I was like really, really good at softball.
Awesome. What position did you play?
Pitcher, catcher, shortstop.
Kind of everything in the infield.
Yeah, I was like a utility player in softball, and the other coaches hated me because they called me a ringer and they thought I was like on steroids or something. But, yeah. So I was playing co-ed softball in Coronado, and I loved it, but I'm super competitive, and my teammates wanted to show up early in the morning drunk and like drink during the game, and I'm trying to like get like highlight reel catches, like flying in the outfield and like trying to hit balls, and these guys are just trying to party. So yeah, softball was fun, but it wasn't competitive enough for me. So then I started watching UFC, and I got like hooked on the ground game. Like I love the Diaz brothers. I'm like, I want to learn how to do jiu-jitsu. Like,
so the Diaz brothers is the one that got your piqued interest in jiu-jitsu?
yeah, specifically them, because I remember seeing Nate Diaz win a fight with a triangle, and he like threw the triangle up and he threw up his fingers, and I thought, man, I want to learn how to do that.
So with watching Nate Diaz getting really interested in UFC, because I know when I was in the Navy, UFC was just exploding with the Diaz brothers, with Matt Hughes, George St. Pierre. It was amazing because the jiu-jitsu game was it just blew everybody's mind, because I'm sure Sarah and I are almost the same age. I'm older though. When we were in school, it was sports, like she said, basketball, baseball, all this stuff. Mm-hmm. But it was boxing, wrestling, and karate.
Yeah, karate.
Where I grew up in Northern California, in East Oakland, we didn't have jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu wasn't even a thought back then.
Same for me back in Pennsylvania. It was all just, wrestling, karate, hockey, basketball, football, everything but jiu-jitsu. I didn't even know about jiu-jitsu until UFC.
So being in UTC, playing baseball.
Softball.
Softball. What gym did you find that, man, I got to go in there and be like those guys and train.
So yeah, I only lived in UTC for a little bit, and then I lived in Hillcrest for a while, and then eventually I moved to Imperial Beach, and I've been living in Imperial Beach for so many years, probably like the whole time I've been training jiu-jitsu, not maybe a little bit longer, so maybe like 12, 13 years I've lived in IB. Like I said, the UFC really sparked my interest in martial arts, specifically jiu-jitsu. I was just fascinated with the ground game. So I remember my mom was visiting from the East Coast, and we're walking to the beach, and I walked by this little gym, and there's this big guy sitting on a chair outside front of the gym, and it was Sauce.
Oh my gosh,
And I
yeah,
was like,
Sauce, amazing jiu-jitsu,
Wow.
amazing guy, and
Yep.
this dude is huge.
Yep.
Huge guy.
Shout out Professor Sauce. He was such a huge part of my jiu-jitsu game. But anyway, he was sitting on a chair, and I looked inside, and there were these guys training in some gis, and I'm like, oh, what's that? And like, he gave me a card, and like, I kept walking with my mom, and eventually I mustered up the courage to go and walk over to the gym, and I talked to Eddie, and basically, in a nutshell, he told me he would turn me into a ninja. So to make a long story short, 11 years ago, I met Eddie and Sauce, and he said he would turn me into a ninja, and I was like, hell yeah, let's go. And
yeah, Eddie's
the
currently
rest
our
is history.
professor, and he's an amazing guy, amazing jiu-jitsu, just like Sauce.
Yep.
So-
Changed my life, man.
So
Changed
with
my
that
life.
change in your life, I'm sure that when you first started jiu-jitsu, there weren't a lot of females in the gym, correct?
No.
So what were some of your biggest challenges that you had to overcome going into a gym full of young men anywhere from 19 to say 50?
It was definitely intimidating. All the guys to me really wasn't the intimidating part, because I grew up with two brothers, and I was always kind of just one of the guys, I always had more guy friends than girlfriends, and I was always playing sports, and I was kind of like a tomboy. So for me, it was just, I played so many sports, and I was so athletic and strong, I thought I would just pick jiu-jitsu up right away like it was nothing, and it was not. It was completely the opposite. Like,
Tell us about your first class. What was your first class like? Do you
my
remember?
first class, I was just doing, like, the warm-ups were so challenging for me, like doing a front roll. Like, I never did gymnastics or tumbling or anything like that, so my big-ass 6 foot had to do, like, front rolls and back rolls, and I was like, oh my God, like, it was not anything I was used to. So that was definitely a learning experience, and as they say in jiu-jitsu, check your ego at the door. I definitely had to check my ego, because I was not playing softball or doing any of those sports. This was a whole new ball game.
So what in jiu-jitsu finally made it click, said, hey, I got this. I know I could do this, and I could be successful at this?
Honestly, when I got my first stripe, it sounds so corny, but it took me like almost a year to get one stripe in jiu-jitsu, and it sounds so corny, but that one little piece of tape meant so much to me. And when I got that first stripe, I was like, oh my God, like, I'm actually like pretty good at this. And like, that one stripe was so motivating, and it just made me want to train harder and be more consistent. And I wasn't consistent as a white belt, to be honest. I made excuses to not come to class. Like, it was super intimidating. Like, there was really no girls. Like, I just felt like I wasn't picking it up fast enough, and I felt like awkward doing all the front rolls and the back rolls, and like, I don't know. It was definitely intimidating, and in the beginning, it wasn't like it was now, where I was like just waiting to train every day, and it's all I could think about. Like, when I was a white belt, it was super hard to pick up at first, but eventually, like I said, when I got that first stripe, and then I like started competing, and then that's when I started competing, I knew I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
So we fast forward, and I was so happy and blessed that I got to be a part of Sarah's ceremony when she got promoted to black belt. Once you got that promotion, and seeing all those people that were so happy for you because you deserved it, all the places you've rolled. If you look in the gym here, a lot of the medals belong to Sarah. Sarah is like amazing at competing.
Yeah.
I'm envious of her because she does something that I don't necessarily would like to do. I competed, but it's not something that I enjoy. I enjoy training more than competing. But Sarah is phenomenal. So once you put on that black belt, what were the challenges? Was it starting over again, or how did you feel on your first class or your first tournament as a black belt?
When I got promoted to black belt, it was such an unreal, surreal feeling, but it felt right. It just felt so right to me. Like, I've been working so hard these past 11 years, competing nonstop, like cross training all over the place, like just trying to get better every single day. It sounds so corny, but 1% better every day literally is like the epitome of like my jiu-jitsu training. Like I just love it. Like I live for this crap. I love training. I love competing. Sorry, what was the question?
No worries. No, you answered perfect. Just your progression as a black belt, it felt so right.
Yeah.
And you know.
And like honestly, like I said, when I got my black belt, to me, I said, okay, this kind of is like a new beginning. Like you're almost like a white belt again. You're like in this little minnow in a big sea of black belts. But like I said, it felt right to me. And to me, I was like, I had already been competing against black belts, like numerous black belts in competition. So I felt like I was definitely ready for the competition side of black belt. And when I did get promoted and I looked around the room, I can't even think about it right now without like wanting to break down in tears of just like happiness and like joy of all the people that were in that room that night. Oh my God. Professor Gabby, Professor Rafa, of course, our Professor Eddie Valdez, Alfredo, Nello, Callo,
Mike.
Oh my God, Mike Young, oh my God.
Marco, Big Daddy Marco.
Big Daddy Marco, of course, last but not least. Oh my God, these have been mentors to me my whole jiu-jitsu career, and I am still so happy and still like in the clouds. And this was like 5 months ago, I think I was promoted. It happened in April. It was the best day of my life. Oh my God, it was the most surreal feeling, and also all my teammates there to witness it. And oh my God, my blood, sweat, and tears are in this place. I love Pitbull so much. It's my life.
So with that going forward, what would be your advice to some of the younger women or older women or people just in their 30s to spark their interest and get them on the mat like you did when you were in your mid-30s?
I would say for jiu-jitsu, it's never too late in age to start. Like, look at me. I started in my late 30s, and look at me now. I'm in, like, honestly, the best shape of my life. Like, I compete every single month, if not twice a month. I train every day, almost every day. Sometimes I take a rest day on Saturday. But I really try to train every day. I love being on the mats. I love the camaraderie of the sport. I love, at Pitbull, this is my family. Like, honestly, Pitbull is my family, and like I have other gyms that I train at that have treated me like family over the years. Kayanga, South Shore, now 10th Planet, San Diego. Like, I just love cross training. And as far as if you're a woman and scared to get into the sport, my advice to you is maybe try a women's class first. And it's super less intimidating. It's not going to be a bunch of like gorillas and sweaty men making you feel scared. But if anybody wants to reach out to me, I'll also do like a private training just to introduce you to the sport.
Yeah, we'll drop Sarah's contact information in the
please hit me
comments.
up. Jiu-jitsu, literally, this sounds corny. It'll change your life. It's so much fun. You'll look forward to doing it every day. It builds confidence. It's great for self-defense. If you think about it, every fight every street fight will probably go to the ground. And if you're in a street fight with somebody that knows jiu-jitsu, then you're screwed. And if you know stand-up fighting on top of that, because I also do boxing, so I got hands too.
Well, that's amazing. Sarah, you have an amazing story. We're so blessed to have you in the gym. You're a mentor. You're a great training partner.
Thank you, Gio.
And I just love training with you.
Thank you. Love you, Gio.
Your story is amazing.
Let's go.
I love this person. She's a great person.
Oh, yeah.
She's a great training partner, and she's a competitor, man. She's vicious. So that's podcast number 3 in the books. Thank you very much, everybody.
Let's go.
We're on YouTube now, so if you like it, please drop a comment. Anything we could do better, anything you guys would like to see or hear. We got some great people coming up. We're going to have our Professor Eddie Valdez in 2 weeks.
Gino.
We're going to have National City Professor in a week or so.
We got King of the City event coming up
Sunday.
September 29th. We got a bunch of kids competing here in super fights. It's going to be awesome. I'm also trying to get a match, but it's hard to find a...
Check out National City Jiu Jitsu. On this Sunday, they got a tournament. It's amazing people, amazing
event,
professor. So, number 3 in the books. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night. And hey, train and come to Pitbull.
Go train. Team Pitbull for life.
Imperial Beach.
Let's go.